Waves crash against jagged rocks under a storm-dark sky, splintering the timbers of a once mighty ship. Salt water stings the eyes of a lone man clinging to wreckage, his calloused hands gripping a makeshift raft as thunderous voices of gods echo across the churning sea. He whispers a name, Ithaca, while shadows of forgotten comrades swirl in the foam below. The hero's vessel, borne by Phaeacian oarsmen through enchanted mists, slices silently toward an unfamiliar shore at dawn. Odysseus stirs from drugged sleep, his weathered frame draped in sea-worn rags, unaware that divine hands have guided him home after 2 decades of war and wandering. Athena, gray-eyed goddess, descends in mortal guise, her form shimmering like moonlight on olive leaves, to cloak him in beggar's filth and warn of the ruin awaiting his palace, a hall overrun by brazen suitors devouring his livestock, draining his wine, and pressing his faithful wife Penelope for remarriage. Disguised, he trudges inland through sacred groves where cicadas hum in torchlit dusk, footsteps echoing like distant omens. At the swineherd's hut, loyal Eumaeus, rough-bearded guardian of the pigs, offers crusts of bread and tales of the absent king, his voice thick with grief for a master long presumed drowned. Odysseus, testing loyalty, spins yarns of distant sightings, his eyes scanning the long shadows for betrayal, while the swineherd weeps for the man he serves. Word spreads like wildfire through the island's silent ruins. Telemachus, the young prince returned from futile quests, seeks his father in the wilds. Father and son meet under Athena's watchful veil, clasping hands in a torchlit clearing where the air hangs heavy with unspoken trials. Plans form in hushed tones, endure the suitor's mockery, gather arms in secret, strike when the moment ripens like overripe figs falling to earth. Odysseus enters his own halls as a wandering beggar, battered by staffs and jeers from the feasting horde, their laughter booming off marble walls stained with spilled wine. Penelope, veiled in sorrow, weeps at the sight of a stranger claiming knowledge of her lord, her loom's endless shroud, a testament to stalling fate. Yet beneath the filth, cunning stirs. The bow contest looms, announced amid the revelry. Only the true king can string the massive arc of olive wood, once bent by Odysseus in youthful prime. Suitors scoff, piling meats on platters, oblivious to the storm gathering in their midst. As night deepens, echoing footsteps patrol the corridors, and the beggar's gaze hardens, home achieved, but vengeance yet unborn. The bow gleams in torchlit splendor amid the suitor's raucous feast, its unyielding curve a silent sentinel of forgotten prowess. Arrogant hands fumble and fail, sinews straining under the weight of presumption, as laughter echoes through smoke-hazed halls stained with grease and presumption. One by one they collapse in exhaustion, mocking the beggar who lingers at the threshold, his ragged form dismissed as folly. Penelope descends the shadowed stairs, her eyes hollowed by years of weaving deceit, the funeral shroud unraveled nightly in defiance of suitors' demands. She places the weapon before the throng, her voice a measured blade. String this bow and claim my hand, prove worthy of the throne. The hall falls to murmurs, goblets clinking like omens, as Odysseus steps forward, rags parting to reveal arms corded from Trojan sieges and sea-tossed tempests. With deliberate calm, he hefts the bow, flexes its limbs in a whisper of string, and looses an arrow straight through 12 axe handles aligned in the fire glow, perfect, unerring, as thunder rolls beyond the storm-dark skies. Chaos erupts in blood-soaked corridors. The beggar sheds his guise, voice booming like Poseidon's wrath. I am Odysseus, returned to purge this hall. Telemachus bolts the doors, loyal hands seizing spears from hidden caches, while suitors scramble for tables as shields, their faces paling in the flickering light. Arrows whistle through the air, felling the boldest first. Antinous crumples, throat pierced mid-sip, wine mingling with crimson on marble floors. Eumaeus and Phileatus, swineherd and cowherd forged in faithful fire, turn the tide with axes hewing limbs, the air thick with screams and the copper tang of vengeance long denied. Athena manifests in golden helm, her aegis shaking the pillars as divine fury scatters the fleeing. Swords clash in narrow passages, shadows lengthening with each felled body. 20 years of absence distilled into this irreversible slaughter. The throne room runs red, ghosts of gluttony haunting the silent ruins left behind, where once feasters lie twisted in eternal judgment. Penelope, drawn by the din, beholds the carnage from her chambers, doubt veiling recognition like mist over sacred groves. Yet trials persist. Eurycleia, ancient nurse, spies the scar on his thigh, bear's claw from hunts of youth, and gasps the truth, her oath binding silence till dawn. Suitors' kin gather at the gates, torches flaring in long shadows, demanding retribution for kinsman's blood. Odysseus stands amid the wreckage, bow slack in hand, the cost of home etched in every echoing footstep. Penelope stands frozen in the torchlit threshold, her gaze tracing the beggar's scarred flesh amid the sprawl of suitors' corpses, doubt carving deeper lines into her storm-weathered face. 20 years of absence demand proof beyond slaughter, whispers of their wedding night, the olive tree bed rooted unyielding in the chamber's heart, immovable as fate itself. Odysseus speaks the secret in hushed tones, her loom-stalled shroud falling away like shed illusions, and she collapses into his arms, salt tears mingling with the hall's drying blood. Echoing footsteps herald Zeus's thunderclap outside the palace gates, where vengeful kin muster with spears glinting under long shadows, baying for the slayer's life. Odysseus arms for war anew, his son at his side, as Athena strides forth in blazing armor, her voice halting the fray like a sacred grove's sudden silence. "Enough," she commands, divine aegis gleaming, binding oaths of peace amid the silent ruins of retribution. The island exhales, olive branches swaying in dawn's first light, but the air hangs heavy with irreversible stains, empty thrones, widowed halls, a legacy forever marked by the blade's keen edge. Loyal servants scour the marble floors, consigning the fallen to pyres crackling under storm-dark skies, their ashes scattering like forgotten oaths on wind-swept cliffs. Odysseus reclaims his crown, yet the throne feels hollow, haunted by comrades lost to Cyclops' maw, Scylla's jaws, Calypso's enchanted isle, each trial a thread in the gods' unspooling tapestry. Penelope's hand in his speaks of endurance, but eyes betray the fragility. One man's cunning defied Poseidon's wrath, yet at what cost to the hearth he sought? In the myth of Odysseus's return, the irreversible choice crystallizes, not the wooden horse of Troy nor the siren's lure, but the defiant will to reclaim home through blood and guile, sealing fates in a single arrow's flight. Human weakness bows to divine caprice. Poseidon's grudge lingered 20 years, extracting crew and years in merciless toll, proving no hero escapes the gods' long shadows. Doubt, that final barrier, tests even the cunning, Penelope's hesitation a mirror to our own, where proof demands the soul's hidden scars. Fate weaves through defiance, leaving thrones perched on pyres, a lingering image of olive roots entwined with slaughter's root, home won, but forever altered, echoing in every silent corridor of what might have been.